Good day, doctor. You know, those of you doing orthodontics, practicing ortho and offering your patients life transformation in orthodontics, know and think about, I'm sure at times, how your straight wire orthodontics, because that's really what most people are doing for the most part now, your straight wire orthodontics often has to be augmented with detailing, finishing. It has to be augmented with various other accessory, either appliances or accessories to the straight wire. Why? Well, let's think about that for a minute. What I'm going to tell you comes from me sitting down and putting together your finishing orthodontics course that's online now, because it made me really think about some of these things that we do without thinking too much about them. For example, straight wire, as I like to say, has every ability to extrude teeth, but no ability to intrude teeth. And we see this particularly, of course, in the posterior segment when you see prematurities, when you're trying to close an open bite, when you're trying to improve overbite, when you're trying to help the patient's comfort in the bite, in the occlusion. And this is one of the downsides to straight wire, but it's also an upside because you can work without as much bending and accessories. You still need them though. So there are pros and cons. There are pros and cons, for example, to self-ligating brackets, to open conventional ligating brackets. There are pros and cons in every direction in almost everything we do. And you might think, well, it just makes it so complex. Well, you know what? So are all the restorations that you've gotten good at. So are the implants that you've probably gotten good at if you're a general dentist. So are the stainless steel crowns that you've gotten good at if you're a pediatric dentist or treat children. So are so many things. Don't ever doubt yourself. You are good at this. You can do this. This is such joy to see the patient's smiles take on beauty, take on glorious joy flowing through from their heart because they're so happy with the way it feels to them to be attractive. And the literature, I always say, bears that out, boy. It's true. We humans know being beautiful, being attractive is a big benefit, and we want to be. We spend billions of dollars on cosmetics, on cosmetic makeup, on cosmetic procedures. Oh my gosh, we do so much. And here we are in dentistry, and you can be doing the most desired treatments in the dental world, orthodontics. That's what your patients want. We have two courses. I've got the finishing course. Claude's already got that on for you, and it goes through so much of some of the complexities and the things that you run into and how to reduce some of them, how to address them if you need to, when to address them, beginning to end, and how to make it easiest for your patient. That course is online, and I really strongly recommend you look at it because it also looks at why is it difficult? Why do we have these problems? Is it me? Is it what I don't know? Is it what I'm doing? No. Many cases, it's the human organism and its current orthodontic systems, which you think are perfect. Ha! Wait till you see. Larry Andrews did a fantastic job of opening the door and beginning the study of straight wire orthodontics. But guess what? It's still fraught with difficulties. It's still fraught with error. It's still fraught with things that we haven't solved. And you might think, oh, well, we, can do digital placement of brackets, and we can do things like Sure Smile, and we can do things like scanning and getting the brackets on better indirect. You know what? Yes, and things like that can help, but guess what? It's still fraught with the same issues because it's a combination of patients' tooth morphology, of patients' organism or body reaction, of patients themselves in compliance, of what you do use and what you learn and what you don't learn. So there are a lot of pieces to this. So that's all in the finishing course, and I can't recommend it strongly enough because it was fun putting it together, and it reminded me of so many things that I wanted to share with you and relearn myself as I went through it. Now I'm finishing up the banding and bracketing course, and for those of you doing ortho, you're saying, I know how to band and bracket. but I can't tell you how much I've added in there. Oh my gosh, I went back and looked at Edward Engel, and I looked at the history of his work and where we started. And I went through Edward Engel's beginnings, which were indeed amazing, indeed. He was doing things at the 1898 to 1900s, early 1900s, that still are amazing. And yet, when we know where we started and where we've been since, you'll be amazed to learn how we got here. And yet we're still struggling with some of the same things because it's back to this human body thing and back to us and our systems that we use. In banding and bracketing, we're also going to talk about wire sequences and find out why it is, now you probably know this, but why is it that the system, the specific bracket you choose, is not nearly as critical as which size wire in which size bracket. Even the prescription of the bracket it pales in importance to the importance of the wire size, the wire use, the wire in the bracket. Because putting that rectangular wire, let's say, into a bracket develops couples. And you may say, oh, I don't want to hear about couples and moments. But you know what? We do want to hear about it. Just understanding that it happens and how to address what we see in the teeth. That's all. We don't have to learn the physics of it, the geometry of it. Although Charlie Burstone, when I was at University of Connecticut, is the absolute master, or was the master of that information. But at this point in time, we're going to talk about the effects that you see and how you can address those effects when they're not what you want and get more of what you want. So that's in banding and bracketing. It's going to be 2 or 3 weeks, and I'll have that one out for you too. But right now, finishing orthodontics, fantastic. Look at all of them. Look at the comprehensive cephalometric diagnosis. It may be that there are things in the radiographic, and that has a nice section on radiographic diagnosis that's not even tracing or ceph. It may be that there are lots of things in there for you to learn and incorporate and make your life easier too. So take a look at all of them, from exam records, treatment planning, right on through airway, all the things that you may or may not have learned a lot about, because each one of them is powerfully rich with other information related to the topic that you just don't tend to get anywhere else. And I'm having a great time putting it together for you. And the doctors taking these courses are absolutely loving them. So I'm thrilled about that. I'm honored by it. And I let the universe's wonderment flow through me as I send it to you. So doctor, take a look at the online courses on our website. We really look forward to working with you after you see what you want to take. Give us a holler. If you have questions, if you need anything, don't hesitate to contact. See you soon.